one.
Oh.
Oh, there's balloons. Did you just see the balloons?
I saw the balloons too. I don't know what that is.
Keep coming from?
I don't know.
Every time you do the countdown, you get the balloons?
I don't know. Let's do it again. Ready?
Okay. 3, 2, 1. No balloons. What? I don't know. Okay, let's do it again.
Okay. This is for real this time. We're going live after this.
After this. Ready?
Welcome back to another episode of Shit That Goes On in Our Heads. Today, Dirty Skittles and G-Rex are joined by Deandre. Welcome to the podcast, Deandre.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's been a lifelong dream to be on this podcast.
Woo! We're making dreams happen.
We are making dreams happen.
Right.
So, Deandre, what are you comfortable sharing with the world today?
Pretty much everything. That's why I wanted to ask what the content thing was.
Yeah.
So that I could be on the same page. So okay. I like fun.
You like fun?
Yeah.
I like fun.
I semi-like raunchy. No, I'm just that's what married people say. Yeah, I was raunchy.
A little raunchy, a little spicy.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm going to follow suit, and then I'll give details where needed. But I'm excited to hear the questions, to hear what you guys talk about, and what topics we walk into.
Yeah, all right. Sounds good. You ready to have some fun, G-Rex?
I am ready to have some fun. I'm super excited about this, too.
Yeah, for the listeners, G-Rex is on a heavy dose of Mucinex. So she's feeling real loopy. Let's see what kind of trouble we can get her into.
Oh, yeah. I'm just going to tell you, don't take half a gummy and chug NyQuil at the same time.
Oh.
Because then you don't sleep at night.
Oh, it worked against you.
It attacked you. So, Deandre, I'm pretty interested. I mean, I know you on a personal level, and I think you have a really good story to share with the world, specifically about your come up. You have a couple of businesses under your belt now, but you weren't always this put together, right?
That is correct. Very much. I would say in the last 4 to 5 years, I really kind of started to grasp an idea of how to run a business. And then in like the last 2 or 3 years, I've been able to start to implement those things. So I feel good going forward. Now, the course of my life, when I look back, was pretty much be told to do something smart, don't do the smart thing, get in trouble, start over.
Yeah.
Like that was it. I think there was a point in my life, if there was a bad choice to be made, I did it. Like it could be good choice,
yeah.
good choice, bad choice.
Always?
Oh, until recently, yeah. I was very, very, very slow to maturing. And as a matter of fact, I tell people in my first marriage, the only reason I got married because I was 29 and I was almost 30. And my brain just said, dude, when are you going to grow up? Like, you can't just keep running out in the streets and that kind of stuff. And my family, who is, I was adopted. I forgot to let you in on that. But they,
G-Rex. It's fine. We'll edit it out.
G-Rex.
Start your sentence over again.
G-Rex. All right. It's committed to memory now. But they were not happy with going to have a kid out of wedlock. That just did not go there. So I let them talk me into it. And when I started to put together how I got in the situation that my ex-wife was throwing at me, I wish I would have known myself better and had more confidence to say, I don't know her well enough. I would not like to get married. But I had this thing about owing them, and they done so much for me. And so the guilt got to me, but we did pregnant, married, moved in together, and engaged all in a period of 6 months.
Wow.
Which,
so
if you guys know,
baby.
Before the baby.
Wow.
Yeah, we had the,
Wow.
Fast pass.
I'm telling you. So if I had it together, I think that would have been a hard transition. The fact that I didn't, and one of the it is sad. The first night I went out after I was married, I bumped into a girl that I used to date. And within 5 seconds, I had taken my ring off my finger because I never wanted to be married. And I was never good at cutting off advances from females, like ever. It really caused me a lot of problems. It was fun, but most of my adult problems came from women and money. So anybody who's listening, anybody who's younger, get ahead of your responsible things. You do not want to play catch up.
Oh, I mean, I think there's adults now that can use that as a lesson.
Yeah.
Dang. Okay, so you had the fast pass, got married, moved in together, became a new parent, went through those struggles. What led you to the next chapter? Because you mentioned ex-wife. So how did you come to terms with, okay, this is it and I need to get out?
The day she grabbed my balls and squeezed them and my son was like standing in the room. Now, that's just like when they show you a show and that's the end. I'm going to go back and tell you how we got there, to be fair to her.
Gotcha.
I left her, like I was out of the house 4 or 5 times before I left for good. I would just be out and gone for a month because I did not like being there. Because I had a background that had violence in it, I have been in the juvie system and that kind of stuff. I was very, very nervous about getting into a domestic thing with her. She's Caucasian, and the neighborhood we live in is mostly that. And I called my dad, who's a lawyer, and he was just like, even if she's in the wrong, that won't look good for you. He said, I used to be a prosecutor. You're probably going. So I was grateful for them on that. But if anybody's ever watched the Chappelle show when he said Rick James had an aura and he was just glowing, I had stayed out all night. I came home at like 7 in the morning. I got my son. I went to play flag football. I went to play basketball. I came home about 5. I started giving my son a bath, and she came in. Where are you going? I can't put up with this. I can't do this anymore. And my glow started. And I stood up. I said, you know what? You shouldn't have to do this anymore. I'm leaving. And I'm telling you, for about 20 minutes, I was just zoned out. My brain went, call somebody for backup and get far away from here. I don't believe I would have been able to not get physical with her. I don't think so. I have pretty bad impulse control sometimes. So, and the not good decisions, good job, Derek, on that one. I just kind of got away. And I went to the bank and took out $1,000 so that I could, that really pissed her off. She liked money. And just so I could restart and got one of those efficiency places. That was it. I never looked back.
Nice.
So it was, to answer the question, it was a build up to it, and this day just felt like it.
Yeah.
So Deandre, I have a question. Was that, so you were like 29, 30 when that happened, right?
Yeah, at this point I was about 33.
About 33. Were you like scared, or were you just trying to like reevaluate your life at that like one moment? I mean, because it takes a lot to walk away from that kind of situation.
Yeah, it was probably my past. We had got into it before, so I kind of felt it escalating. And unfortunately, I had an incident like that in my 20s, and right before it happened, my brain was like, get out of here. It just so happened that at that time, I was chugging a bottle of vodka. The girl I was with was the worst person for me. It was just completely toxic. And that is why you should not focus on sex in a relationship, because her thing started every time we broke up, no matter how much it was her fault. At some point, I'd be like, dang, that pussy good, though. And then...
Like, sorry. I was not prepared for the pussy with a hard P, but I'm here now. I'm awake. I'm not.
and, you know, I'd be sitting on her stairs. And, you know, backgrounds affect people a lot. I'm glad that I know that older. And I hear some people saying now they wish they got therapy, how to manage stress in school, because there's a lot of classes people don't have to take. And then you're just expecting people to be doing this stuff without much guidance and all of that. And, you know, I believe in therapy and all that now. But the girl who was not very good for me, very trouble. Well, actually, first she had a, what I would say, middle class lifestyle. Both of her parents worked. But then she started dating a drug dealer, but she was a full-time nurse. And so, like, that's how she couldn't get it together. According to her, she came to Orlando from New York. Because her ex would never let her wear dresses. He was selling drugs. She was in a shootout and all that kind of stuff. So my belief is like, I probably look like a good catch compared, like he's from this nice family, talk nice, act nice, but not my best moment. I'm not.
Man. While you were going through these difficult situations, because you mentioned like, if kids had guidance, like you kind of threw that in there. Was there anybody that you went to for help or advice, or were you just sort of figuring it out on your own?
At which time in my life, like ever?
I think in these two relationships you've just mentioned. Like when you met
how
your
did I
first
get
wife.
help?
Yeah, like did you have anybody you would go to for advice?
Yeah, I think a lot of my friends told me not to marry her. And, I probably wouldn't, but they also, I don't think, didn't understand my situation. And they probably didn't know that I didn't have the balls to do it. Didn't have the balls, and I really didn't know myself. If I was able to say, you want nothing to do with marriage, like you're still chasing skirt, figure it out. So my friends helped a little bit. Some coworkers, there was when things were happening, because within 2 weeks, she kind of showed crazy. Within 2 weeks. And this was an idiot move. Now that I think about it, I gaslighted her a lot. I apologize wherever she is. But at this particular time, I was at a place with her and 3 other people that I had slept with or dated. Like in one place, because that was cool. I'm going to show my boys, like I got all of them, like I did her. And I walked away with my friend, and she found me and was going crazy, like crazy, screaming at me. So how everything is clear in the dead, that's when I should have left, But, sometimes I don't quit.
Hindsight. Got it. So what was the turning point for you to start, I guess, getting it together and making different decisions?
That was a big start of it. The fight with my ex about time with my son really helped me start to turn it around. My current wife and her mom came at about the right time. So I got this little 1-bedroom apartment. I hadn't met her mom, and they brought me like cleaning supplies and that kind of stuff. It was little, but it was just like someone cares in that moment. I'm sure I had no idea how much I was hurting. So that was it. I believe in your circle mostly defines you. And the reason my friend group didn't think I should marry, they all got married at like 22. They were constantly like, dude, what are you waiting for? And so I did have people. The odd part about advice is my foster parents continued to ask me to reconcile with her. That was very hurtful. They were so down the middle. It was like I was not their son. They probably like, he's a jackass, and if he stops running around in the streets, he'll be fine. But, they're educated people. Everything I was doing was a teenager screaming for help. All of it. Even when I was living at home, these people were so nice. And they would go out of town, and I would lie to them, and I would sneak girls in the house. And so I just wasn't receiving the messages. I usually had somebody around who's doing it, but it was closed. It was just closed down there. And I probably didn't know how to take advice at the time.
Yeah.
I just recently told my wife, because she makes fun of me, because I do weird stuff, but I'm okay with that. And it occurred to me that 85% of what I knew how to do in life, from tying my shoe to brushing my teeth, I taught myself. Because with my first family at like 11, I ran away from home. And from 11 to 13, I was running away from home, getting locked up in juvie, sleeping in the woods with homeless people. I was on the street, and don't ask me how, but like at 12, my brain clicked and said, you need defense. So I picked up 2 soda bottles when they used to be glasses, and I would walk down the street like this. And I found out that I could go to the hospital. If you sit really quiet, no one will mess with you. So that's what I did when it was cold or the bugs were a lot. And I just kind of walked the streets.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah, it
to
was.
take in. So that was like at 12.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm curious, like I after that, like the family that you stayed with, how old were you when you met them?
I met them when I was 14 in the foster home. My dad was like a mentor. And I don't know, over time, he was just like, I noticed you're never like in the cafeteria on visiting day. Would you like to come and spend the weekend with us? So they started doing things like that, taking me to Magic games. And as I sit here now, I cannot tell you why, but they were just like, would you like to move in with us between my junior and senior year? I
Wow.
missed this when you asked about the turning point.
Mm-hmm.
Hitting the foster home, falling in love with basketball, making the team that forced me to want to be better in my grades. Positive reinforcement. These staff proved what positive reinforcement was, because the odd thing, I always had impeccable manners when locked up. They would just say, like, why are you in here? Again, that's how your environment gets you. And, I was all my life just looking for love. So I got the foster people nice. I got the my foster dad nice. And some of the guys who worked in the foster home, they were probably 25 at the time. That's the first time I saw a black man not doing a street job.
Wow.
Like outside of, like dad's work and stuff, but like all of the guys that were a little bit older than me, they didn't work. They was just on the street. A lot of people didn't go to school after 10th grade where I lived.
Yeah. So you're learning, you were able to observe outside influence and learn from it.
Mm-hmm. And so going with the family was good. Then they sent me to Bishop Moore. And one of the things, they've done a lot, but one of the things I appreciate about that, it was another life. It like it was another life going to Bishop Moore, being around fancy people. This was 19, was it night? Yeah, this was 93, 94. So me being out with a lily white family, and my favorite little brother had freckles. People could not figure out like what I was doing there. Like it was just so funny getting the looks, and it took a while to get used to that.
Yeah.
But they just helped out by showing things that I now pass on to my son. I'm very grateful for. To the collared shirt. I had never worn a collared shirt before them, and now I say, we got to dress. So I'm big on that. I'm planning on starting an etiquette club too for kids, because I think that's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So it sounds like you had to relearn life.
Yes, I like that. You should put that on a t-shirt. I did.
Relearn life.
Yes.
But now, I mean, I know you now, and you have a couple of businesses. You're very passionate about time with children. Do you think that passion comes from just your upbringing and your experience?
100%. I believe that I was put through all of that so that I'd be able to work with every demographic of kids. And I do feel proud about that, because in 28 years in working with kids, from the very poor to the super rich, all kids want the same thing. They want love. They want positive reinforcement. They want discipline. Discipline doesn't have to be screaming and yelling and, beating them kind of stuff. And it's fun to be like, this kid needs help. Like, can I help him? Because teachers and counselors are sometimes the only people that kids have. Shout out to all my teachers. I had 92% good teachers. Ms. Hall, I'm sorry you didn't make the list.
I mean, kudos to you for remembering your teachers' names. I don't think I can remember any of my teachers. Oh, no, it's not true. I do. I had a teacher for history. His name was Mr. Cerisi. And the only reason I remember him was because he always had dad jokes before, like, I knew dad jokes were dad jokes. And I don't know.
Did you laugh at the dad jokes?
I was the only kid in the class just dying of laughter.
I like that.
Yeah, he was a cool.
Spicy G, did you have a favorite teacher?
I can't remember, man.
All right, we'll circle back.
I'm going to tell you, my high school years were a blur. It was really it's bad.
Did you get in trouble in high school, or were you like a straight A student?
I got in trouble in high school. I was not a straight A student. The thing with me in high school is I was older than my classmates, so I could buy beer when nobody else could buy beer. I probably taught more than half my class how to drive. My mom's
How old did you have to be
in Colorado? In Colorado, the drinking age was 18. So by the time my senior year rolled around, I was the most popular student in the class.
You're pushing that alcohol. I'm just kidding.
You know what? Shushy. Shush.
So to get back to your story, first of all, I think what you do is great, because I have a 5-year-old little nugget, and I don't think I have the patience you do with children.
Thank you. And it's not always like that.
So
Yeah.
they can challenge you. But I think what you're doing is awesome because you're providing support and a safe space for kids.
Thank you.
So
That's why I do it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
really do. So I feel like it's my way to pay back. And even though I had a lot of rough things, like I'm still here. And
Yeah.
so I believe like I'm here for kids. And like my superpower is to be able to go to a group of kids and like in 5 minutes I can have them all together doing something. There's a sense like they respond to me, and that's the thing I've been most consistently successful with since I've been older. So that keeps me going.
Yeah. Part of my question, or I guess where my thought goes, is it sounds to me like you're providing that space because you didn't have it yourself, and you realize how important it is for kids to be so free and being themselves. Have you ever thought of, or maybe you do you mentor kids?
I have done it before. I would like to have a mentor program off of my business.
Yeah.
And I just plan to ask the gentleman in my neighborhood, like, would they spend 30 minutes? Because when I volunteered at my son's school, that's what it was. And that's pretty doable. You just spend 30 minutes with them and, like, hang out with them.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to do an old school versus new school basketball game. I like for the youth of today to be valued by the adults. Because we carry on this thing that, oh, you don't know how to do such and such, and all old people do it. I'm biased because I work with kids, but I see kids busting their hump. I see super smart kids who are trying to get bright scholars in like 7th grade. So these kids are going to be fun. And going back to me being hurt, right? Like when you're a kid and someone's been like, oh, you little shit, and those things, like you hear it, you feel it, you take it in. And so you're going to have to take me back. I forgot where I started.
You're answering
what was
it
it talking
it's
about?
like, I was curious if providing that safe space was your intention because you didn't have it yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and mentoring kids because it sounded like you would have done well had you had a mentor as part of your life. But I think your journey is your journey, and it's what's brought you to being successful now and having businesses. So do you want to tell the listeners, because I don't know if we mentioned it earlier, what your passion and your drive is with your business? Like, what is the service you provide?
Of my current business, it's like a school bus, but I just have a van and I drive in the morning, pick up kids, take them to school. I do 3 schools in the morning. And then I have my day off. I cook, clean, run errands. That's my admin time for the business. And then I go back out at 1:30 and I do the same thing. And it's great to me because it was built up. It was built up, like from starting very cheap and like moving my way up price wise. I found that the parents really appreciated that. When people joined my leagues, they really were like, we love the price. And then on top of that, I make up my own games. Like I have a ridiculous amount of games and stuff. When I was younger, reading was everything. That's one of the ways I got through. But my imagination is off the charts. And even today, I can't turn my brain off. If I see something, boom, idea, you can put a business there.
Yeah.
So
you provide like pick up, drop off, and then like after school kind of.
Yeah. That after school, we don't do what some parents like. But I wish I had saved some of them. Some of the text messages from the parents is what you're talking about. They appreciate. There's people who said, I had no idea what I was going to do. There's a lady who was on the waiting list for 3 years, like so grateful. And I can tell you that I'm not a good financial businessman, but as far as caring about the customers, that's a home run. That shuttle business is so good. I haven't advertised in like 4 years, and I don't even ever have to call anybody. They just reach out and contact.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I think that it's great that you're there for those parents, because there's a lot of parents that are stuck, right?
Yeah.
That, after the pandemic, they were forced to go back to the office and, didn't have a way to take their kids to school or pick them up. Man, what a great service. And like, just listening to you, I can imagine being on that bus with you and like how much fun it would be. Like, I would be excited for you to come and pick me up and have you, drive me home or take me to school. Deandre, you're a good guy. You have a good
Thank you.
heart.
I'm chugging that way. I will expand and bring Fun on the Run adults down to Georgia. There we
You
go. Let's
should.
do it. And I'll take you guys out for drinking, and no one has to worry about
Fun on
you
the-
know, yeah. I'll get
Fun
one of
on the
those
Run
long
adult style.
one of those long black Yukons like the
Yeah.
Secret Service. Like that's a good night on the town for the ladies.
I know. Safe drive.
We could
home.
do that for the Friendsgiving.
Friendsgiving. We're not going anywhere. We're here, bud. We're locking down and
Locking
just having
down?
a good time. Yeah.
Have you guys done Friendsgiving before?
No, we're gonna
Oh.
do a live version of the podcast.
Oh,
and we're calling it
sweet.
Friendsgiving. There
That's
might be
awesome.
costumes and games and
And alcohol.
beverages. Yeah.
I like it. I like it. Mixing it up on the podcast.
Yeah. But I think to go back to your businesses, like Bizzle and I, when we moved to Georgia, being away from family, basically, because in Florida, that's who we would rely on if we couldn't go and pick up Little Nugget from school. We had the grandparents. But in Georgia, if something like that happens, there's so many times where we think like, man, we need Deandre. We need Deandre's service because as a parent, it's not only just pick up and drop off, which is great, but like having somebody that you trust, that your kid vibes with, that they're going to have a good time after school. Like it's a win-win. You know what I mean?
It is. Thank you. That part
Yeah.
right there makes it very hard to hire somebody because, like, it's my
Yeah.
baby, and some of the people are just like, Mr. Derek's bringing my kid home. I've had college kids and stay-at-home moms help me out before,
Yeah.
and you know, you get a good personality like you don't, but
Right.
it's not the same experience. And my wife is not happy about that because it makes me hard to like pull away from it. But if you know parents, once they find someone their kids are safe with, like they're staying with that person.
Yeah. So, what other ventures are you taking on now? Are you thinking of
Getting
expanding?
organized and practicing doing one thing at a time. That's my motto for the next month. That's really what my focus is to get doing everything one at a time so that when I start this next business, like things will be in order.
Yeah. What's next? What's your next business?
The Verbal Superheroes t-shirts.
Nice. Tell us
Pre-orders
about
start in August.
it. What is it? What is Verbal Heroes?
It is going to remind kids to talk nice by putting the words on their shirt. And in my best of best worlds, Max is walking and he has a shirt on that says, "Give me water," very rudely. And then on the bottom it says, "May I please have something to drink?" And that box is going to be checked. And I'm hoping that kids walking around, whoever's behind them in line, is going to see that shirt and maybe that nice message will sink in. It might not, but it's good. And then we're donating proceeds to charity also. So I think it's going to go well. And I have a friend I'm helping who's going to do the art. So yeah, I'm excited.
That's cool.
DeAndre, will you be able to provide us like with the details, like where people can order those shirts and things? I'd love to keep that and put that in our show notes.
Yes, I will. I'll get those sent over to you.
Nice. Cool.
I appreciate that.
So I have another question. Like, so as you like kind of progress through life, did you eventually like seek any kind of therapy, or are you just kind of like going through life and trying to like figure this out on your own?
I did try therapy a couple times. I did not do well in it until about 9 months ago. In the last 2 years, I hit a depression. I had never had depression before. And I was just miserable at my job. And this was one of the best jobs I ever had. And I was just miserable. And so I would run my business and then go teach PE at this school. And on the way, I would have to pull over and curl up in the back of the van because I was so stricken with anxiety to have to talk to anybody. And I was the PE teacher, like I'm high energy, like I was a very, very popular teacher. So that's what they're used to seeing. And there were days I didn't know like how I could do it. So I started calling in a lot. I started doing less hours. I started doing that job not to the best of my ability. And it was a little disagreement with me not doing the job because finances at the house.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, that doesn't matter. Sorry, I got off track. When I told my supervisors that I need to leave, like the job is too much for me, 2 days after that, it felt like a blanket was on my back and it just lifted off. And this little girl, this sweet little girl, she asked me to walk to pee every day and hold her hand every day, every time. And she would tell me every story in the world. And I didn't hear her story for a month and a half.
Wow.
I was just so foggy. I was just there existing.
Wow.
So when I came out of that, I was like, you got to get serious about therapy. And I challenged myself to do at least 7 and then go from there.
So you set a number. You're like, if I can at least get 7 out, I'll be better.
This is funny to me. I have not set one goal in my entire life. I've never said that, like, you know, I want to work in the kitchen, so I'm going to start, like, never. And so my wife is an angel because I said, I don't know why I thought love and fun was going to pay the bills, but like I did. So I just kind of floated through life. I think I'm a hippie. I like being a hippie because I don't get upset a lot. It makes you flexible in those kind of things. So
yeah. But so you set one goal, 7 sessions for therapy, and you've accomplished.
Yes.
Look at that.
I did. People tell you a bunch of stuff. One of the things that has helped me since I started therapy was if you tell somebody your intention, it makes you more accountable for it.
Yeah.
So when I was really being like my worst version of myself, I was just acting different around people. I was like 7 different people, and it was just crazy. And through therapy and self-reflection, I had no idea how to like fix problems in a relationship. So me going out at night was just like me running away from home when I was 12. It's just crazy how much, and it struggled. My marriage now struggled because I don't let people in. I just don't. I won't get all the way there. We're much better now, but it definitely hurt at first. But therapy was good. I have a good therapist. I have a good psychiatrist, the one who does the medicine, and I felt pretty good after about a month and a half of counseling and the medicine.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like you're working through some of the issues that were causing anxiety
all the time. Yeah. I'm more intentional now.
Yeah.
I've always been working. I'm a great trier.
Yeah.
That's my wife. I try. I try
We're
a
not
lot.
afraid to try. That's how we word it. Hey, I'm not afraid to try.
I'm not afraid to try. I believe that I tell people sometimes, like, I'm okay with being wrong. I don't have to be right all the time. You know, hence school. I feel like if I say that's blue and you tell me it's really green, I've learned something in that point.
Yeah.
You know, so.
That's how I am. I'm not afraid to make mistakes or I'm not afraid to apologize when I've done something wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
me
great
neither.
skill. That's a great skill.
Can't be perfect all the time. Just sometimes, you know. I'm just kidding.
How
So,
how fast does that diffuse something, right? When you apologize, it's like
it's immediate because I think people, and I mean, I'm guilty of this too. Like you'll go into a conversation or a confrontation prepared to battle, but when that other person's like, you know what, I was wrong. I'm sorry. There's no battle.
Yes.
They recognize
Yeah.
it. Yeah, it's done.
Shout out to romantic comedies. I've watched 102 of them so I can learn how to deal with women.
Oh.
And that was one.
Huh.
Do men listen to the podcast? Is it catered to them?
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
we
right.
get.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Everybody who listens, if you are single and you want a lady who's nice, watch romantic comedies. Women drive everyone crazy, but in defense to them, all the movies I watch, the women are acting away because the guy's not doing something. And we had a friend that say that women who stray are the ones who don't have the guy acting right. So there's like, I mean, it's probably why I had trouble with women, but I could woo a woman like nobody. Like usually in like like 3 weeks, and it was a skill. I didn't realize it. Like I would meet them out. I would be super charismatic. I was attractive. No one else is gonna have my story. Women love a broken puppy. Let me just tell you that.
My word.
Like that. Oh, and you live with this Caucasian family. Oh, you're different. Oh, you might be Carlton. And they just do it because in Orlando there's certain places where there's guys like me, where I would have been, I believe, who just never get out of their way. And so they're just not doing a lot. So when a woman would meet somebody, like I was working at a daycare, they like that. I worked at schools and those kind of things. If you like Cinnamon Toast Crunch, I would go put it on the front of your car. I wrote notes. I can write poetry. And so somebody figured that I wasn't going to be doing construction. They know it was going to be little. Say, let me give this dude the skill to talk because he ain't going to do nothing else. Nothing else. But it got me in trouble because while I was perfect at that, there was always a point where I was like, I don't like her anymore. And then I was a dick. Like a dick. Like we could have just
So you could
been
turn it off or turn it on and turn it off.
Yes.
Got
and
it.
from today's things, that's like a narcissist trait. That's one of them.
Okay.
That's what I've been told. So I don't like that. But yeah, I can. I can. I just turn it off. And like, imagine a guy being so sweet. And then the next day he's like, don't fucking call me no more.
He's Louise.
Yeah.
Nice.
A girl
Nice.
crying on the phone. I put it on speaker so my boy can hit it. Don't break up with me. Don't break up with me. Like what a jerk. And we're laughing and that kind of stuff.
Damn.
But, you know, we
Brutal.
grow. So I should give a message to the women, too. The only thing a guy understands about changing is if you ghost him. Like, you really have to completely not talk to him anymore if you're really done with him. I've been probably told 42 times I'm done with you. It takes one call or a text. They get right back into it, and they'll let you get. So I love myself. I wasn't deserving of those women. I had a lot of good women, a lot. I just didn't know how to cherish them then. I didn't know how to value friendships. So I say to women, it's great to support in that stuff, but if you want a hard life, you'll get with somebody who puts you through the ringer. If you want a great life, look at Bob in the county. He might wear glasses, but he going to bring the check home every day. He ain't going to run the streets, and you're going to be a happy wife.
Pick Bob.
Bob, I know. I'm sorry, Bob.
Listen, I just watched the Barbie movie, and I saw a shirt that said, in a world full of Kens, be an Allen. And if anybody's watched the Barbie movie, they know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Go for the Allens or the Bobs.
The Alice. That's right. They're always, romantic comedies again. Every romantic comedy, the best friend is the guy for you. And guys, don't do that. Don't be friends with a girl who's chasing another guy if you like her. Like, be straight up. That's, break my heart.
Did you use pickup lines?
Not really. That was probably my joy. When I liked somebody, I was very aggressive. I was like a hyena. And I would just walk up and say, hey, how you doing? My name is Derek. Nice to meet you. And then you go into, like, where you from. I say a lot of odd things to girls, like, to catch them off guard.
I don't know if you have an example.
Yeah. There was a girl I liked walking down the street. She had cigarettes. I didn't smoke, but I was like, yo, can I get a cigarette? Just start talking to her.
Just
I'm going to get one and come back. That was, I don't know how to do it. It was studying and having it natural. But I did realize that most guys say the same thing. So if you say anything to a woman, I used to buy them a drink and tell them, I'm not going to talk to you and stay around you all night. I'll see you later. They would always come find me.
So be different.
Damn.
G-Rex, in your single days, did you have any pickup lines?
No. And like, I don't remember my single days, man. I've been married for 28 years. And then I had a relationship before that for 5 years.
Mm.
I don't remember, man. I'm old. I'm 60. Like, I don't remember what I ate 2 days ago. You want me to remember 40 years ago? Please.
All right, fair enough. I thought somebody would have a pickup line.
I do love your story, Deandre, though. Yeah. Like you said, you had to go through all that shit to get to where you are now. You know, I'm in the same boat. I had to go through all my shit last year to get where I am now. I'm like the happiest I've ever been. Oh. And, I'm thankful that I had to go, that I went through that, because I don't think I would have gotten to this point.
Yeah. To some degree, we should be celebrating, right? Like our growth.
Yeah.
And nobody, well, at least nobody I know, comes out into the world with just like a perfect life. There's always something that you have to learn from and work through and get stronger from. So
yeah, I think to piggyback off what you said, one way to be happy, like you can know stuff is gonna happen, you can complain all the time, or you can just be like, stuff happens and you move on, or you find that you're just happier. Like I know when I'm not depressed and I'm driving everything is beautiful. That guy working construction, seeing a grandparent take a kid to school is one of the sweetest things like you will ever see. The tree looks greener to me. And so that's when I know I'm vibing. And then, on some days I don't even see what I'm driving by.
Yeah.
So that helps me to I really do try to see the good in everything.
Yeah. So do you have any techniques you use when you're having a stressful day to see the pretty in everything?
From therapy, the breathing. I watch comedies and try to get back into laughing. I listen to music. I think those are the three main coping mechanisms.
Yeah, I like it. What about you, G-Rex?
So when I'm practicing like self-love and self-care is if I feel like I'm getting myself a little anxious, I'll get up and walk outside. I take my shoes off and I ground myself. I put my feet in the dirt, and I can't do that in the winter because otherwise, I'd get like frostbite. But like I'll go and pick up one of my cats, right? I'm 100% extrovert, and so I need people or things to interact with. And I'll talk to my wife, right? Like she, I am completely open with her, and she can usually help, draw out of me what is bothering me. So
nice. Yeah.
What about you?
Kind of the same as Deandre. It's either listening to music is probably my go-to because it immediately will improve my mood. I've noticed this about myself. I don't like to watch dramas at all. Like now I gravitate towards comedy because when you like break out of your normal day, I don't want to watch something super sad and depressing. Like I want something that's going to make me laugh or feel good or happy or whatever. So I'll watch the comedies, and I'm learning about the breathing now. Yeah. Like I can't remember how, like I had something at work really stressful going on, and I was like ready to just crawl under a blanket and pretend like the world didn't exist. And I was talking to somebody and they were like, just breathe, man. Just breathe, relax. Like it's going to be fine. Just take a deep breath. And for whatever reason, that was what I needed to hear in the minute. And I was like, just got to breathe through it. So I'm learning about practicing that a little bit more.
Yeah, because anxiety doesn't send you a text message and say I'm coming. They just show up like an unwanted in-law, like on the porch.
And you want nothing more than to
and
just
you're
get
like,
away from it.
I didn't invite you. Do you have go-tos on music that you know is gonna pump you up?
Yes, I do. And I already know Bizzle's gonna edit this and be like, Jesus, if I have to hear this name one more time. It's Harry Styles.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shawn Mendes. Depends on the mood. Sometimes it's a little Imagine Dragons. Or I go like, if I'm like in my feels, I'll go for My Chemical Romance because I can rage sing to emo music.
You can rage sing, get it out. So PSA comment, how I just asked you that music thing, that's all it takes. You get a woman talking about herself, that's it. Women, don't fall for it. I'm probably lose my man card, but I'm here to help. I don't want people to go through what I did. If my son could do anything different from me, he would be the husband I am to my current wife. Like that feels most important to me. I've asked him to not get serious with someone in high school unless he hung out with them for 3 months. I told him people don't show. I was like, you might not. I know dad's a nerd, but I'm telling you, if you do stuff with girls and it gets emotional, it's going to be trouble. You're going to get distracted from basketball and grades. And yeah, high school kids falling in love, it wrecks them sometimes. So if I can get them 2 more years, just play basketball and play NBA 2K. That's it.
Yeah.
The girls will be there. That's what I didn't learn. That's what people try to tell me. Women will be there. Women will be there.
There you have it. Cool.
Californication fans? Anybody?
No. But my mother-in-law, shout out to my mother-in-law, loves the Red Hot Chili Peppers. We almost make it a drinking game to see how many times she's going to talk about the Red Hot Chili Peppers when we see her. Is that your go-to song?
No. That show, there's a character on there.
Oh, the show. I thought you were talking about Red Hot Chili Peppers,
Stop it. You're singing.
Yeah, I was like, Californication.
That's awesome.
No, I've never seen
there's a line in there when you hear something, you're like, that's me. And this guy says, I've never met a woman that I didn't fall in love with for 2 minutes. And I was like, that's fucking me.
Interesting.
And that's what happens to people like me who don't have boundaries. like new shiny things. Like, there's so many pretty women, so you just can't talk to every pretty woman. You just got to be like, hey, you look good. Have a nice day. Women like that. Just stop them. Hey, your hair looks nice. That was weird, but they're interested.
Oh, get them interested. I feel like that's the end note on this podcast. Get them interested.
Get them interested.
Get them interested. Just keep them interested.
It's okay to be not okay. Just make sure you're talking to someone.